What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Hans Fakir, the host of the Healthcare CEO, and this is episode 2. It's going to be some amazing stuff going down on this episode. I got a very, you see how many times I said very special guest. She's coming all the way from Buckhead, Georgia. Look, she's one of my dopest mentees, and she took an ambulance company in mixture with all her other businesses, and while she was doing so much, she blew this ambulance company. Like one of my most successful testimonies for an EMS company, one of my most successful EMS mentees. Like, she is super dope, and we're gonna break down how she did it from beginning to end. Her name is the legendary Wendy Scurlock. Yo, Wendy, let's go. Welcome to the Healthcare CEO podcast. We doing it like a talk show, y'all, so we actually introduce our people. You good?
I'm good. I'm happy to be here.
All right. So amazing, intelligent, beautiful. She got her thing together. So, Wendy, you nervous? You all right?
No, I'm good.
We've talked on the phone. We be,
I know. We talk, a lot about everything. Anything I need to talk about, I call you. So.
All right. Cool. So, we're going to do the intro because this is the second episode. So we're not giving you guys a quick backdrop story of her. That's what we're going to do moving forward. You guys are going to see the Healthcare CEO podcast with the amazing team that I have. And we're going to do a quick intro because the first episode, we introduced the rest of the team. But there's a new member to the team we're going to introduce real quick. She is part of the social media group, Ms. Jada Fakir. Can you share the mic with Wendy real quick? Just introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jada Fakir. I'm Hans Fakir's daughter. Thank you.
Let's go.
Jada?
That's right. I'm doing the same thing LeBron and all them doing. I'm bringing my kids with me.
Right.
Dion, LeBron, let's go.
That's
all
right.
So, Wendy, our relationship started back about 2 years ago, right?
Yeah.
But we're gonna really, the Healthcare CEO, I'm gonna lay down a foundation for you. It's about, we tell people, leave your keys at the door. No gatekeeping, right? 90% information, 10% motivation. And we want to let people know when they leave here that they're going to have something tangible that you're telling them that they can go start their own EMS company and really, grow the way you've grown. And this is a special day because I can invite a lot of people, but you're the first person that's on the Healthcare CEO. How do you feel about that?
I'm excited about it. I'm completely honored. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. All right, so we're going to get down to it, and then at the end, we're going to do a healthcare analysis of your business. You know how that goes. I put on my lab coat. I get into doctor mode. And listen, we're going to diagnose whatever is unhealthy about your business. And we're going to hopefully give you a really great prescription. And we're going to check back with you in 3 months. All right?
I love that.
All right, cool. So tell me a little bit about yourself. This is the 10% motivational part.
Okay. So, of course, like Hans said, my name is Wendy Scurlock. I am from Memphis, Tennessee. But I was raised in Decatur, Georgia, East Side. I went to the almighty Cedar Grove High School. I'm sure you all have heard about that.
Never heard of it.
I was a hairstylist for 21 years. I retired, I would say maybe about 9 years ago. I had a huge clientele. I just maxed out. I could not make any more money. And once I ventured outside of doing what I knew and what I could do with my eyes closed, I took a chance on myself, got into real estate. Now I'm a real estate broker. I own an EMS company. I own a home care agency. And so we thriving.
I forgot about that. We're going to tap into that home care too. Yo, who told you about the home care?
I know. Somebody told me about the home care. I ain't going to say who, but.
That's crazy. All right, that's cool. We know who it is. It's me, guys. But anyway, so you started real estate. You've been an entrepreneur all your life.
All my life. I've never worked for a company besides my first job was KFC on Wesley Chapel. Shout out to them.
Dang, your father working at KFC? That's crazy. That drive-through line must have been.
It was popping. It was popping.
I love it.
That was my first job. But outside of that, even when I had my first job, I was a hairstylist. Yes. Both of my grandmothers did hair. I followed in their footsteps. I own several salons, and I'm a legend in the hair industry.
Okay.
So,
Okay, from the east side, right?
East side, yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. See, that's why I love the healthcare CEO, because we're taking the most unconventional healthcare CEOs and putting them on a platform, right? So it's not like you didn't even say nothing like, I went to school, got my degree in this, that. You went hairstyle, started your own salon, from realtor to only being a broker, and now you're an EMS owner.
Yes.
So how did that journey start? What was the first thing you did? And why did you even want to do EMS?
So The journey with EMS started with so I have other partners. We own a huge nationwide company that services trailers. So
Nice.
I'll just say it like that. But outside of that, we got into the logistics portion, and we had a situation where my aunt was looking for transportation to a doctor's appointment, but she lived in Memphis. So we were having such a hard time calling around, trying to figure it out, just between the family. And so my sister and I decided to just, we were talking one day, in some kind of way, we ended up having a conversation about transportation, and there was a need of, just like medical transport. So I went to my favorite place. I went to YouTube University and researched medical transport. I didn't really have any insight into the ambulance part. I had no idea what that even existed. That it could be private companies that transported patients to doctor's appointments or wherever. So I looked that up, and I just kind of got in a like a fixation with researching medical transport, and I came across your videos, and I looked at all of them, and here I go. Had a conversation with my sister. She was on the same page. She was actually interested in doing more so like children transport, because she has 4 kids.
Gotcha.
So we kind of like joined forces with our ideas and came across the video. I shared it with her. She was like, Wendy, let's go. We came up with a name. Well, we had to beg you first.
Yeah. How long you been looking for me before this happened?
Not long. So I found the videos that were, appealing, the ones that I could watch completely through. And yours was the first one that I saw. I watched the video, and then I watched it again, and I was sending it to people. And I was like, maybe this is the one. I said, I think he lives in Atlanta. I'm going to call him. So I am that girl that researches things on YouTube, and I will call people on YouTube. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? They can say no.
Yeah, I think you finally got me on IG or something like. Please
I did.
respond.
Yeah, I started to stalk you. You didn't reply, and so I put a message under your Facebook post.
Yeah.
Because you were saying or promoting that you respond back, and I was like, you never responded back to me.
Why you want to say that? Right? I didn't say what time. I didn't say how long it take me to respond back.
Yeah,
I just said I'll respond back.
That's true. So here we are. I remember I was standing outside of I was in New Orleans. We were going to a football game. I was standing outside the stadium, and you called me back. I stepped outside the stadium. It was super loud. It was my birthday weekend.
Oh, wow.
And you said, I begged you. I said, Hans, can you please, let me, be in your mentorship program? It'll be a great birthday gift. And you was like, say less.
Gotcha. Love it.
That was it. I used all I had.
And you came in with a group of other people like, yo,
I did.
I'm going to bring these people in. So it was my first group of mentees trying to get everybody through the finish line at one time. So we had that first discussion at my restaurant.
Yes, we did.
Right? And then once we did that, we were just talking about the nuances that we're going to have to go through to really start it. And it was a long process. And I'll let you guys know up front, hey, we're going to argue, we're going to bicker, we're going to love each other, we're going to hate each other. But that's part of putting a group of people that don't know each other together and saying, make this happen.
Right.
And that's what we literally did, right? And it was crazy.
And we needed the group. We needed the group to be able to, for checks and balances, to make sure that we all kept each other in check.
Yeah, so that's a good thing, too. So, again, we're going to break down how she did it, but take notes while we're going through this. If there's a group of people that you can go through and you trust with each other, and you guys can start the same businesses, you don't have to start it together,
right?
But you can start the same businesses. There's enough money out here for everyone.
Yeah.
And Wendy's a true testament to that, because the people that you brought in are doing very well.
Amazing.
Shout out to Sed and Dana.
Sed and Dana.
Personal growth?
No,
Personal Care EMS. I'm sorry, y'all. Personal Care EMS. Yes, my brother has a company called Personal Growth. So, shout out to Seth and Dana. Thank you for you bringing them onto the mentorship.
Yes.
We're going to have them one day. And so we had that group conversation, and now we're going to lay down the blueprint for people, right? So the first thing we did was what? Come up with a name?
The first thing we did was, come up with a name.
And you guys came up with a great name because you had a story behind it.
Right.
Right? And so HTMN, for people that don't know, what does HTM stand for?
HTM stands for Helping the Multitude. And Helping the Multitude was already a nonprofit organization that my sister is the founder of.
Okay, dope. Shout out Shannon.
So shout out to Shannon. I help her with that, meaning like I just come and volunteer. I show up wherever she needs me to. But they help families and children in schools and, any other place with food insecurities.
Nice.
So helping the multitude is helping everybody in every way that we can. So we decided to choose HTM for medical transport because it's also helping people.
And so that's a really good part for me to cut in because people don't understand that the importance of tying your company to a nonprofit is huge. You guys did that before you got started. Usually people do it after, right?
Right.
And so whenever you guys want to, sometimes when you think, why am I not getting the notoriety? Why am I not expanding the way I should be? Maybe if you tie your company to a cause, then people will relate, you'll be more relatable and people will feel like being part of your company because they're part of helping that cause out. So that was super dope. And I hope you guys are taking notes because Wendy will be the first one to tell you the way I teach will be so unconventional, but put the puzzles together and you're going to make it,
Seriously.
it's going to make something. So I'm going to stop you throughout this because I don't think the audience is catching the nuggets that you're like, hey, we had a nonprofit first, and people don't understand the essential, how important that is to really growing your success. When you look at a lot of entrepreneurs, they have a nonprofit tied to their company, right? And so you did that, and we know your why. So your why was the first thing. My family member needs transportation.
Correct.
Then we did, hey, let's find a mentor. That's step 2. Pay attention to how we breaking this down, y'all. So that was step 2. Step 3 was, okay, now what is our cause? We know the why, right? We know who's going to guide us now because we decided we want to do this, but how can we make this bigger than just the financial? So that was step 3.
Yes.
Right? So now we got the 3 things in play. And then step 4 was we had to start filling out the application. Right? So anybody who's doing EMS, you guys got to understand that every state has an application process. And it's pretty lengthy. Right? And for the most part, you got to find a what? Did you have to have a doctor?
Medical director.
Okay, cool. And probably a pharmacist?
Yes, we had to have a pharmacist.
Okay, so pay attention, y'all. Like, you see how, do you have a degree in medicine? Because I'm going to keep
don't.
reading. Do you have a degree at all?
I don't have a
Look, we
degree.
straight hustlers out here. So, but guess what? She hired the doctor and hired the pharmacist.
Yeah.
We're going to hire the people that went to school.
Isn't that crazy?
I love it.
I would never have thought that I would have a doctor on my staff.
I love it. And when people go, oh, do you work for the doctor? You go, no, the doctor works for me.
The doctor works for us.
Dope.
Yes.
So for most states, you do need a medical director and you need a pharmacist to be under, right? So then now we're giving people the blueprint. You downloaded the application or we had to just sign into the Georgia EMS, right?
Yeah, so you helped us with figuring out, like we had no idea where to even start.
Yeah.
So yes, we got on the state website,
Yep.
figured out the intricate parts, the login, creating your profile, and a lot of that part is not my strong suit. I'm gonna just be honest and transparent. My sister is a whiz. Like my sister is a genius when it comes to doing those types of things.
Yeah.
So we understood our parts, and that was her part.
Yeah.
So everything getting us started, you and her work together, Hans, to get all those things done.
Definitely. And so another nugget, right? When you bring that other person in with you, if they're your business partner, have your mentor or have somebody else structure it because they're going to be able to see things from an outside point of view. Because I don't know if you remember, but our first meeting, I'm like, oh, she's logistics, you're marketing.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
You're going to be the CEO. She's going to be the COO. It was so apparent to me because she was writing down, like you said, everything I was saying, like dot, and holding me accountable.
Yeah.
Hey, Hans, what's up with the LLC? What's this EIN?
Right.
And we skipped that part
Yeah.
because once you did your name, you found your why, you found your mentor, we created the LLC, right? And then we created the EIN. For those that you don't know, it's called Employee Identification Number. Those things probably cost $150. The EIN is completely free.
Yes.
It's on the IRS website. But again, you had your sister to double check that it was done correctly.
Yes.
But I love the way you said, hey, I fell back, let her play this position, and not everybody has to be like, oh, let me do this. No, you do this.
Right.
It was like, where'd you get that from? Like, it ain't all about me. This ain't where I'm. And you just up front with it. Like, I'm gonna be real with y'all.
This is not my area. It's her area. She is a genius with it. And like I said, my sister is corporate America. She's a note taker. She is gonna write everything down. She reads every document. I don't have that attention span.
Yeah.
Like, you got
Neither.
a good 11 seconds with me.
Yeah.
And I'm on to the next thing. So once we figured out that she was going to do that part, then I just fell back. I was just a second ear to whatever information. I understood it, but she understood it.
And what was so crazy about that dynamics was that I would talk to you sometime to say, hey, explain this to Shannon.
Right.
Right? Because you and I kind of got each other
Right.
with, it's not all about dotting every I. Let's look at the bigger picture and let's just implement things where they go.
Correct.
Right? Let's not look at like the asterisks on the LL. Like, no, that's
My
good.
sister is going to look at every dot.
Yes. I know, we know. Right? So we got the LLC, we got the EIN. You guys created a login with the Georgia Department of EMS website.
Correct.
Now, on the Georgia Department of EMS website, it basically gave you the foundation of everything you need to submit, right? From your LLC to the business address. So now we got that, but for us to continue, you got to find an office.
Yes.
That was the second thing, or the other thing you did after that?
That was the other thing that we did. Me, you, and Shannon went on a journey. And I am a commercial realtor. Shout out to
So it
Coldwell
worked?
Baker. Yes. So with the commercial real estate, I'm able to locate properties. A lot of the other people in the group as well, I help them figure out what property they need. But you gave us the guidelines on what the office needs to look like. What did it need to have? How many rooms? Did it need to have a parking bay? Or does it need a loading dock? Like, we had no idea.
Yeah.
So once we were able to go out and see what the office space looks like, I think we may have looked at 3 office spots and we were done. We found our office.
Dope. And then once you got the office, it was on to the next step, right? Because people could think this journey takes a long time, but it's so tedious. And
Yeah.
so when someone comes to me and says, you know, how long does it take? I'll say it could take 6 months to a year, depending on you.
Yeah.
But you don't want to rush this process because there's other important things involved, like finding your trucks,
Yeah.
right? And you guys went through a journey
Yeah.
of finding your trucks, right?
We did.
And so how did that process go? Because you had to reach out to other EMS owners,
Yes.
your boyfriend's friend.
Yeah.
So it was like you guys made a broad search.
We did. We just kind of were blessed to, or we were completely blessed to have found and had the connections, because once people knew that we were starting an EMS company, an ambulance company, I just started calling everybody that I knew that had some type of interest in buying or selling vehicles. I started there. And then you were telling us that you had someone that you could introduce us to. And we just kind of went from there, just kind of figured out the best way. And we ended up finding somebody that was amazing, that gave us the blueprint. You know,
Yeah.
Here we go again. You know, like every step we took, it was just blessed. You know, like it was the favor that we had was
Yeah.
unparalleled.
And you guys ended up getting 2 Mercedes Sprinters.
We did.
Which we talked about. And
We
I said,
did.
hey, if you get these Mercedes Sprinters, have a mechanic. Then guess
Right.
what? They're like, we got a mechanic. I'm like, okay, great.
Right.
Right? Because we don't want to have to turn those trucks into the dealer,
Right.
and now you're paying a lot for repair fees.
Right.
So it's like, if you got a mechanic that can work on diesel Mercedes, run it.
And you know what? We went against the grain. You advised us not to
Yeah, I
do
was like,
diesel.
yeah, right.
But it came out to where it's one of our best. It's our best. You know, our best
Investment.
thing, our best investment, and that's because they run a lot longer. You know, it's just things that you have to also figure out on your own. Yes, have a mentor, but also too, you know, like take a chance on some things you might believe in.
I remember telling you guys this. Look, guys, I'm not the end all be all. I can just tell you what works for me.
Correct.
But please go explore your own stuff, because I
Yeah.
don't want to be, you know, it's just, I don't know everything. Like how you said, that's not my, I can go by what's worked, and then things change, right? When I first got into the EMS business, everybody had diesel.
Right.
And we all faded away from it.
Yes.
Right? Because mechanics knew this, so they were jacking the repair prices up, right? And so your turnaround time on your trucks was taking forever
Yeah.
because you're in line with everybody else, but the engines do last longer, and you guys are loving life because it's been almost a year and a half.
Yeah, it has.
Yeah.
It has
So
been.
now you got the office space, you got the ambulances, right? We loving life. We're on a downturn now, right?
Right.
Because we did all that. We got the medical director.
Got it.
Shout out to my man Tony, right? Got the pharmacy. So now we just have to supply the ambulance,
Right.
right? And then there's going to be some other things that we don't really have to go into detail with. You guys had, protocols. You guys had your own protocols.
Correct.
I showed you how to do those. And those are all the things. So when you look at your application process, you guys just had to do all the checks and balances.
Yes.
Fill this out, go to the next tab. Fill this out, go to the next tab, right?
Yeah.
And then you had to buy uniforms,
Yes.
What was the process like? Got the trucks, got the office space. What was the next thing?
The uniforms that was super easy. But just trying to make sure that we looked the way that we envisioned in our mind. We had two separate types of uniforms. We had professional polos for the EMTs that were full time, and then we just have basic T-shirts for those that are like PRN.
Okay, and how did you and Shannon, outside of what I said, decide who does what?
Anything that came to admin, computer stuff, I can't sit there long enough to even do that. That was Shannon's.
Okay, cool. And now,
area.
So we're here, and I hope you guys are following along. Please take notes about this is actually how the process is. We are really telling you guys,
It really is.
come up with the name, find your mentor, create your LLC, go to your state's EMS website, find out what the application is, process is. And also, though, we missed a part. We had to find out just to make sure who was your regional director, who's no longer here.
Yeah.
But you wanted to find out what was her expectations of you.
Right.
Right? So if you guys have a regional director, I know they're named different things in different states. Let them know. Introduce yourself to that person, and that way you can find out what's the temperature of the room.
Right.
You can fill that out and see how to move.
Yes.
Accordingly.
Yeah, and even though everybody had a different experience with that person, we walked straight in, unbothered, unscathed. She was extremely nice.
Yeah.
And we have not, knock on wood, we have not had an issue or a problem ever with the state, with anything that we have done.
Yeah, and that was great that, again, y'all sought opinions of everybody else, but you said, okay, we're going to formulate our own opinion,
Yeah,
right?
our own
'Cause
relationship.
people don't ever tell you the whole side.
Right.
Right? They might have been riding dirty, and she's just doing her job, and they're like, oh, she's a B. Like, no,
Yeah.
she's just doing her job. You might
Yes.
not like how it was delivered, but at the end of the day, if you was doing what you're supposed to be doing, so we understand that. So find out who your regional director is, your district director, your EMS director, whatever they call it, but that's very important in this process.
Right.
So now we at the final stages. I remember Shannon calling me. Y'all got y'all equipment. We got our medical director. We got our pharmacist.
Ready.
We submitted all of our paperwork to the state.
Yes.
Shannon's like, Hans, where you at? I'm like, I don't remember where I was. I was on the expressway. She's like, we ready. We about to go. I was like, all right. I turned around.
Yeah, you showed up, popped up.
Popped up to the house. 2 ambulances. Laid all the equipment out.
Yes.
And we just did our checks. So that's really key. I don't know if you were there for that. You showed up later on, though.
I did.
Yeah. So what each state will give you guys is they're going to give you a list of everything that should be on your ambulance.
Yes.
Right? And let's clarify this because we're going to go, you guys do a lot of non-emergency.
Yes.
But even though you are licensed as an emergency medical service, okay, so we're gonna talk about that once we get to the license part. So now, Shannon, you, myself, we're cleaning off the bees. I remember that there was bees by the truck everywhere.
Yes.
We're cleaning the trucks off, and we go through everything, and we go through it in the order that your inspector is going to go through it. And so that made it super easy. We made sure your AC was blowing cold on both sides. Made sure no check engine lights was on. Your tire pressure. We did everything. So follow the state's guideline. They basically, guys, it can be hard, but it doesn't have to be harder than you make it because the state really lays down the blueprint.
They really
right?
do.
The mentor is really there to just say, I understand this blueprint, but let's do this quicker this way.
Right.
Or just don't go to this person and buy your supplies or do this, you know what I
Right.
mean? And be there with you while you're going through your inspection
Right.
and stuff like that. Let's practice the inspection. You guys came here, we
Practice.
practiced it a couple of times.
Practice the inspection, making sure the dates, the expiration dates, like it's really tedious, but I mean, had we not had an example or a mentor to walk us through what that process looks like, having the items laid outside,
Yeah.
things like that, we would have never known. You won't know these things unless somebody tells you or shows you.
Definitely. So I love the fact that we're going to tie this into because it's going to be dope because I'm going to get you to join the healthcare CEO community when
Yes.
we leave because people need people like you to lean on, right?
Can't wait.
We're going to expand on the mentorship and let people know that, hey, my way's not the only way to do it. I got my girl Wendy here that's on my healthcare CEO community, and y'all can reach out to her too. And then we're going to have the doctors on there. We're going to have the pharmacists on there. So it's going to be a plethora of people in this community that can help you. So now, state comes out. Y'all christen, they go through
State.
everything. Y'all called me, we licensed. We never did the
Licensed.
celebration dinner?
No, I don't think we ever did that.
I owe y'all that. My bad.
That's been like a year. We
You
I
don't
think we
gotta
should
mention
have
how
2
long.
now.
All right.
We're due 2.
But y'all
dinners.
licensed.
Yes, we were.
Dope.
We
And
are.
so once the state comes out, so basically, guys, when you fill out all your paperwork and you submit it to the state, before they even come check out your truck, they already checked your paperwork.
Yes.
And the only reason they're coming to your truck is because everything on the paperwork is right, ready to go.
Yep.
And then they'll schedule with you guys, and then they come and, like Wendy said, they're gonna go through from your nasal cannula to your blood pressure cuff. They're gonna check to see if your AC's working on the front and the patient compartment.
Your tires,
The
your
tires,
everything.
engines, everything. They're checking not the engine, but if the engine light's on.
Yeah.
They're just making sure that you have a good vehicle to transport people in, because that's what we do,
Correct.
right?
Yes.
And so now y'all licensed. And now, what's the next step?
The next step, well, first of all, we were so excited to get the sticker. You go through all that work to get a tiny sticker put on the inside. It's not even on the outside. It's on the inside door of your truck, and it was the best day ever. So once we did that, then we were able to transport. We were ready to go.
Y'all were ready.
We can hit the road
You
at
were ready.
that point.
And then, so, but how'd you know? But you weren't ready Medicare, though, and Medicaid. That
Right.
still took a couple of, like,
Yeah.
2 months.
Yeah.
Because, guys, when you fill out your application for the state, and this, I don't care what state you're in, this is the same thing applies. You fill out your, you send your EMS license, because now
Yes.
you're a EMS company,
Mm-hmm.
but for you to get Medicare and Medicaid, that license has to be attached to their application process.
Yes.
So you're in the game, because you could take Humana, Blue Cross, Blue Shield, all those other companies,
Mm-hmm.
but one of the main payers, you're like, okay, we still got to wait for that, but that didn't stop y'all from promoting.
No, we did not.
So I'm gonna get to the juicy part. So now this chick calls me, yo, we got a meeting with the fire department. I'm like, what? We got a meeting with, was it Kaiser? Or,
Wellstar.
Wellstar. I'm like, wait, time out.
Yeah.
And then, so what was, for people that are like, I got my EMS company, I don't know where to start. How'd you get a meeting with like one of the biggest fire departments in the state?
So what we did was, I told you about my sister's strong points.
Mm-hmm.
Her area is admin, anything that has to do with paperwork. Mine is talking to people, relationships. Remember, I have a real estate background.
Yeah.
I have a background also with doing hair, and that's all relationships. It's networking. So when we were hiring our staff, mainly we were seeking people that had more experience than us. We didn't know what it would take to, or how we were supposed to get contracts. So when we hired our staff and when we were going through interviews, we wanted to know how they could be the best asset for our company. And a lot of the EMTs that we did hire, the ones that we paid the most, they had a huge relationship with these places that we could never get into.
Mm-hmm.
So like one of our EMTs that we hired, he was like, I don't know if he was a chief, but he just had such a tight relationship with this fire department.
Mm-hmm.
And he knew the insides of, what they were missing, or, what they were lacking, or if they needed medical transport or non-emergency. Yeah, like he knew all the things. So he walked us into that fire department. He introduced us to whoever we needed to speak to, and then there we are. We were sitting
that's
at the
dope.
table with like all of the decision makers for the county.
Another golden nugget. So when y'all get licensed and you guys start hiring your EMTs, find out what they do outside of just being an EMT.
Yes.
Because they could be your foot in the door with the fire departments. And then y'all had with, we said Wellstar, whatever.
Yeah.
And the Kaisers. Those are the big, not really like hospital communities, because they do everything in-house. So was it an EMT that set y'all up with them too?
It was an EMT that set us up with all of this. Not only that, actually, before we got
You never told me this, you know that, right?
See, before we
You've
got
been making
the,
it seem like it was you. I was giving you
well,
all the
it was
credit.
me. You know what I'm saying?
I'm
I
just
had
saying.
to go inside the office. But mainly what it was more so like once that EMT got on board, he knew where he was going every night. He's a firefighter. So he knew what places they were showing up every day that didn't have medical transport.
Facts.
So he's like, Wendy, we need to go to this place. We need to go to this nursing home. We went to that nursing home. That was, when I tell you, they gave us, like, they wanted to just hug us when we came into the office, because they were in such a big, deficit when it came to transports. And all of the patients that we transport, of course, are bedbound. They cannot walk. We don't do wheelchair. And so they needed us as much as we needed them.
Yeah.
And so it was about me at that point. You know, he introduced us. He got it all set up, but it was my turn to say what we could do, how we could be of service, to really bridge the gap and make a great, strong relationship. So our very first one was actually a nursing home, a huge nursing home that also had 3 different sections. It had just a regular nursing home part. It had hospice as well as acute care.
Nice.
Vent patients.
And I'm going to tell you, from working on both sides, because I was an EMT as well, when we walk in the room to these nursing homes, hospitals, it's almost like we're part of the staff.
Yes.
Right? But when I put on a suit or my thing, it's like, yes, sir, no soliciting. You know, it's
Right.
like, but no. So it's great to say, use your EMTs because they're already in these places.
They are in
They're
there.
talking to, like when I was a firefighter, I used to rub shoulders with the doctors, play golf with the doctors because I was, yo, doctor this, doctor that, what we doing tomorrow, you know, whatever. And now you build these relationships that we're trying to build.
Yes.
They already got them.
Yes.
So that was genius, y'all. So if you have, when you hire EMTs, hire them as hybrid employees. You know, I use that word a lot because they're going to be, they already got their foot in the doors that we're trying to get our feet into.
Correct.
Like, they're already there. I use them dudes and them ladies, like, let's get this money.
Yeah.
Give them an incentive.
Right, and really seek out the ones that have great relationships. You know,
Yeah.
like it's one thing to just have an EMT on your truck, but it's another one that has relationships where they can go inside these hospitals and they know them by name.
Yeah,
That's what we need.
stretch their talent out.
Exactly.
Don't just hire somebody to be an EMT. So what you guys are seeing how we got from one place to the other, but not only that, when she got licensed, it's like, I'm still going to create opportunities for everybody. But you know, when I talk to you, Wendy, all I think about is community. Like, you don't do things by yourself.
No.
From the first time, and I'm learning this now about you, right? It's like from the first thing you said, hey, I called my sister, you know, and this was from my aunt. And then when I found you, we called our other friends. And then when we got onto you, we called our other friends for advice and leaned on, you know, your boyfriend's friends. And then when that was it, it was like, hey, we're gonna add my mom as our billing. And then now,
Correct.
I'm not just gonna hire my EMTs, I'm gonna hire them to do more. Like, it's always, you move with the collective.
Correct.
And you get a lot of work done that way. So I know y'all hear me talk, but I just want to know, like, people are just following, like, okay, I want them to take things, and I hope that they're taking things from this.
I hope
and
they are too.
Okay, this is what I'm going to do. This is the gap that she's filling for me that I was missing. But you taking stuff, and you can apply it in any business.
Correct.
And show people how to fall back, let somebody else take the lead, but also how to fall back and let your employees,
Take the
not
lead.
even just your business partners,
Yeah.
let your employees take the lead. So the reason why I had Wendy here is because she's just moving and growing so big, right? Because I don't have too many people saying, yeah, I got a meeting with the fire department. I got a meeting with a hospital. I'm like, yo, wait, slow down. Like,
No, it's so much, and it's still going. You know, like I showed up for our bid meeting the other day. We are also registered with the federal government, and we were there at a bid meeting to bid on a big contract. And you know,
You
like
put
the
me
thing,
on?
absolutely, the thing that I love the most is I'm just not. You know, I'm not gonna hold back or not try something because I don't know it,
Yeah.
or because I don't have the experience, or because we're not big enough. We have 2 ambulances, but you will never know we operate as $1 million big company.
facts. Yo, how much time we got? 33 minutes? Okay, we good. What you think?
Yeah, we good.
All right, we good. We rolling. So we're going to keep it going with Miss Wendy Scurlock, the owner and founder of HTM Medical Transport, Real Estate, other business endeavors. Like, this shorty is doing her thing.
Yes.
All right. Got kids, too.
I
So it's like
do.
those are businesses. You know, them kids get on my nerves when, you know, but they businesses, like your business gets on your nerves, right?
Yeah.
But you always got to invest in them and keep doing the right thing. So now that you are there, you are going strong on 2 years. Right?
Yes.
Took some steps back, but you're moving forward.
Yes.
Right? And now you are the sole owner of HTM.
Yes,
So
and I
what's in
miss
the
my sister
future
every
for
day.
you?
I want to say
Oh,
I
we know
miss my
she's still a
sister
part
every
of
day,
it,
but
yeah.
she's
She's
still in the
still a
mix.
part of
But
it,
she
yeah.
had bigger, much
Fish to
bigger
fry.
fish to fry, and things to do, and other ways that we are successful. So
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
HTMM won't be where it's at. Without
Right.
my girl, Shannon. She's
Yes.
not a cliff note. She's actual real
Yeah.
part of this. So what's in the next future for HTMM? You got a contract pending.
No. So we didn't. We decided we went to the bid meeting and we just literally went to the bid meeting, saw the details of the contract or listened to the details of the contract, and we decided that we weren't doing it. But we were able to meet and network with people. All I needed was one connection, and so we decided not to do that.
Cool.
So now what we are doing and what we have done differently than what we did in the beginning. In the beginning, we started out with the nursing home. We, were in talks with the contract with the fire department. And the thing that I've learned the most about doing EMS and starting an ambulance company is more so about the diversion. Like you might start one place and then before you know it, you over here.
Mm-hmm.
Or you start one place, you think that you're going this route and you turn it in a different direction. So it's always changing. You're constantly firing and hiring.
Mm-hmm.
You are constantly figuring out ways to maneuver to make your company stand out because it's a lot of EMS companies, but we are just trying to diversify our portfolio and what we're doing. So we got a lot of things on the table.
Yeah, and that's great because people don't understand that y'all not doing 911.
We don't do
But
911.
you do
We
discharges.
don't do dialysis either.
Yeah, that's what
You know, that's the crazy part. You know, a lot of the companies, we're in a big group, and we're on Group Me, and we speak a lot, pretty much every day, and we share ideas and things like that. And I want to say it's only my company and one other company that do not do dialysis. We are pretty much focused on only discharges now.
And you do VA, so you got a contract with the VA.
So we have we are a sub to somebody that has a contract with the VA.
Nice.
Yes.
But you're discharging from the VA, which is
We
still
are
great.
discharging from the VA,
And
and
they
then
keeping y'all
also
busy.
too, we do regular hospital discharges too with several different hospitals in our
I
area.
love it. I love
Yeah,
it. Y'all doing
we're
y'all thing.
rolling.
You guys
Yeah.
are growing. So we are at the point where we've taken everybody on this Wendy Scurlock journey.
Yes.
And this is the time of the podcast where we are going to do a health evaluation of your business. So
Let's go.
I'm about to get my lab coat on. You want to stop it for a minute? Or yeah. All right, yeah, I'm about to put my lab coat on, and you just stay right there, young lady. Now I'm really turning into the healthcare CEO.
Right.
We're going to get it in. Yo, this is my fun part. This is the part I love. And I got to be more professional. Da, 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 da. All right. Jack, we going to move that camera? Look at this. We going in. All right. This is the part of the Healthcare CEO podcast where in every episode, for those of you that don't know, we're going to take our guests and we're going to put them in our doctor's seat. We're going to do an evaluation on what is unhealthy in their business. Y'all see that? Healthcare CEO right there. And I am going to basically write them a prescription. And I hope that this prescription not only helps you, but it's going to help anybody else dealing with this. So, again, it's about building that community.
Yes.
And not just holding information to yourself, but trying to help people that are listening.
Correct.
So, you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
All right, cool. And I am going to, yep. All right. I'm just writing down today's date. Miss Wendy. Miss Wendy, how are you doing today?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
I heard you have some issues that we need to remedy, right?
We
Can
do.
you hop on right quick to my doctor's seat real quick so I can
Yeah,
do an evaluation?
we're-
It's right behind you.
Oh, wow, it's a real seat.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we're doing some real things. I hope it's locked into place.
I hope it is.
Where's my little doctor stool? All right, wow. Cool, we got it. Good stuff. How we looking? We good? Lay down, Miss Wendy.
Okay.
All right, cool. So this is the segment where we talk about what's going on with Miss Wendy Scurlock. So now you're in business.
Yes.
You got the ambulance business. You got the real estate business. You're a broker. You're doing plenty of good things. So what brings you in today? I would, I want people to focus. I would put the stethoscope on you, but we just pretend to be doctors. So
Right.
what brings you in today?
So, the thing that I would say that is the most challenging part of my business is the billing aspect, and that's a whole different segment, I'm sure.
Okay.
But the billing aspect is the hardest part for me that I've noticed, and that's what I would need help with.
Okay. So what problems has that caused, though?
Well, the billing is a lot. It's a trickle down effect. With the billing, it causes you to have to use your own money
Okay.
for certain things until you get capital to cover, the business 100%.
Gotcha.
It's just No,
That's,
it's not.
My, somebody just walked into the ER.
Yeah.
So that's the sound.
Okay.
All right, so what we're gonna do is, so what happens with the billing is, it messes your system up, and you guys are outsourcing your billing?
We are.
Okay, so that's one of the issues, right? And so it's causing financial problems, and it's stopping you from really having a float of money. You gotta really float that money in yourself.
Yes,
All right, so there's a billing company that I'm going to recommend for you, right? The abbreviation is NAAC. So what this does is like a 24-hour course that allows you to teach someone in your staff, which in your case, your mom's already in billing.
Yes.
So this is a 24-hour course that your mom can become a certified ambulance billing person herself. There's certain codes that's in this course, and now what that's gonna do is, it's gonna stop you from having to extend your time to figure out what's going on with billing. So you don't have to call a billing company and go, hey, what's going on? Well, let me figure it out, give me 3 or 4 days. When it comes to billing, y'all, you guys gotta get those answers right away.
Immediately.
All right? So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna write your prescription for this billing company, right? And you're gonna call them, take the course. Maybe your mom wants to take it, but I would advise you to take it just so you can, or Shannon, just so you can familiarize yourselves. It's always great to have like 3 points of failure, right? So if your mom can't get to it, maybe you guys can. Because when it comes to billing, from what I heard from ambulance billing, it's just a couple of codes that you guys really need to know. But what this is gonna do is, it's gonna help you guys streamline your billing process. It's gonna help you guys alleviate extra funds that you have to pay to a billing company, right? And it's gonna help you cut off one part of the billing cycle, so that way it can be more efficient for you guys, and you guys can figure out where the problems are right away. So for those people that don't know, when you have an EMS company, it goes from the patient PCR, which is a patient care report, to the supervisor, which might be you or somebody who QCs that report and make sure it's good, to the billing company that looks at the report and they put everything together, and then they send it to the proper insurance company. In this case, it's going from the patient to your billing person that's in-house to the billing company. We've just eliminated 2 processes, right? And now if you have an issue with a particular patient, you could just walk into the next room and say, hey, blah, 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 what's going on with Mr. Johnson? And then you'll know right there, no phone calls, and most billing companies charge a percentage. You can save a lot of money by paying that employee hourly and give them bonuses to fix whatever rejections they get right back. So you can still give them a lot of money, but make a lot of money yourself, all right?
I love that.
All right, good. So, Miss Wendy, I want to see you back in 3 months. I'm going to write you this prescription for NAAC Billing Company. And you're not going to understand this because this is Dr. Scribble.
Got it.
And right here. All right? So, we're going to check back with you.
Thank
3
you.
months, let me know how that's going. Make sure you pay attention to everything they say. Pass that certificate. And we'd love to have you on this another episode, maybe to just kind of see how that's going. I'm pretty sure it'll fix it because anything the doctor says gets fixed. All right, so y'all pay attention to this. Yo, we thank you so much for being on the Healthcare CEO podcast. We love it. We appreciate y'all. And we will see y'all on the next episode of the Healthcare CEO. We are out of here. Love y'all. Oh, don't forget to join the Healthcare CEO community at www.thehealthcareceo community to learn more from Wendy and other people that is on the community. All right? Peace.